Hello world. I know I ended up saying that I was gonna put more gameplay on the second monitor, but I'm just gonna be honest, I just haven't really recorded any gameplay lately. I just haven't really been playing that much video games in the past few weeks. That's the reason why. But either way, one thing that I said that I want to do is that at the end of the year, I want to make one huge list of basically just every internet story that we ended up talking about on this channel. I originally wanted to talk about everything that ended up happening, but I'm pretty sure that we reached a point where that is basically physically impossible now, since so much stuff happened on the internet in many different communities, and I'm someone who is pretty well connected, which I know that's something that's not really that cool to brag about. I'm basically saying that I'm chronically online, but I know I am. So I am all around the internet, and I know drama happening from lots of different community, and even with how much that I know, there is still so much things that I'm missing. But either way, I'm making the list, and one habit that I end up falling into is that I will see a story on the internet that I think is interesting, add it on the list, but I just don't talk about it at all, which I think is just pretty dumb, because that means half of the things on the list is going to be a jump scare to people who watch this channel regularly, which I think some of them being a complete surprise is okay, but not a lot of them. So instead of me doing that again, I'm actually going to talk about this situation. But maybe I shouldn't make promises about that video, since I literally said that I was going to do the same thing last year and it never happened. And that tier list that I've been promising that I was going to make for literally the past few months still haven't been made yet. So maybe I shouldn't promise that I'm going to make that video, but it's too late. Not so long ago, we ended up hearing about a pretty insane story that someone who works at Wells Fargo ended up dying at work, and it took everyone in the building 4 days to realize that they were dead. Now, I want that sentence that I just said, I really want you to sink in the words that I told you. You know, really listen to the vibrations that are coming out of my mouth as it goes inside of your ear, and let that snail inside of your ear really just absorb everything that I just said as it's feeding it through your brain. That is something that is actually crazy. Straight up something that you will see in like a really bad isekai anime, whereas like the main protagonist ended up dying from overworking, and now they got isekai where they are now going to be with a villainess, or they get turned into a villainess. Actually, that's not really the new trend right now. Like currently right now on the whole isekai side of like manga, it's like you die, then you like become a servant to a villainess, but then you like fall in love with them. It's just a very weird trend that I'm seeing, which I guess it is something that's pretty interesting. It's something brand new and never seen before. I just think it's really funny. But either way, let me stop yapping and show you some of the news clip where basically the person on the news is going to say the same thing that I basically just told you.
A Wells Fargo employee went to work the morning of Friday, August 16th and never went home. Tempe police tell 12 News 60-year-old Denise Prudhomme scanned into work at 7 o'clock in the morning. 4 days later, police responded to the office building near Washington Street and Priest Drive for reports of a subject down. Prudhomme was declared dead. The Tempe Police Criminal Investigation Bureau is investigating, but do not suspect foul play. A Wells Fargo employee exclusively spoke with 12 News, but asked not to be recorded or identified out of fear for their job. They say a colleague found Prudhomme dead at her desk in a cubicle while walking around the building on Tuesday, August 20th. Prudhomme's cubicle was reportedly on the third floor and away from the main aisle. This employee says several people had smelled a foul odor, but passed it off as faulty plumbing. They say while most Wells Fargo employees at this Tempe location work remote, the building has 24/7 security, and someone should have found Prudhomme sooner.
Now that clip just has a lot of questions to be brought up, so let me just spit out the generic one that you have probably heard everyone who talk about this situation say before. Number one, how is it possible that no one at this office finds out that someone is dead? I think it's going to be an automatic red flag that you don't see someone leave the place. I'm pretty sure if you're someone who's watching this video and you work somewhere, and even if you're not not working and you just go to school. I'm pretty sure you noticed that a lot of people leave the building, so I think it would be pretty suspicious someone that you will regularly see leave the building doesn't leave. You know, you're kind of not like, man, that's kind of weird. Especially you're not seeing that person for multiple days. Nothing ended up lining up inside the employee's head that, you know, maybe I should go and check on this person real quick. Two, this is a building owned by a multi-billion-dollar company, which means they have a full-on security team. I'm assuming they have the Freddy Fazbear special where there's someone in there checking the cameras, making sure nothing bad is happening. And you're telling me that he didn't notice that a person there was dead? You know, I'm not someone who really sees dead people, but I think we all know that dead bodies are just pretty easy to see. You know, if I use one example where I think the majority of us are going to see a dead body if we ever see one in our life, it's probably going to be in a really bad car accident where someone just gets absolutely blasted and their body flies out of their car. You know, when you see that body hit the ground, you can tell it's dead because it's not moving. You know, if people are alive, even if they're like paralyzed or something, you can tell that they're moving because they're breathing. You know, movement. I think you guys know what I'm talking about. Movement means they're alive. If someone is completely dead, they're just frozen, paused in time, because, you know, there's no blood pumping in their body. Their heart has completely stopped. Basically, what I'm trying to say is you should really be able to notice a dead body. This is just proven another fact that for some weird reason a lot of people in society still do not understand, and that is corporate companies and a lot of people around you don't really care about you at all. And again, this is something that I think should be pretty well known, but it's still not. You know, I think that a lot of people know that billion-dollar companies don't care about their employees, but then I'll go and log on Twitter, and not even that, I'll just go and read a YouTube comment section, and I just see people say the most dumbest stuff of all time and simp for billion-dollar companies, like they're gonna give them a care package for like defending their name. So I guess that's something that people still don't know. And also, a lot of people around you don't care about you at all. I mean, it's crazy to me that even though they did say that she was in a low populated area in the building, it's still kind of crazy to me that absolutely no co-workers in that place, you know, had any sense of agency to see if like she was okay or to wonder if like something bad ended up happening. They straight up just didn't care about her at all, which is just insane to think about, but also something that's not really that surprising because that's just kind of how it is out there. And this is just a wild story. I think you can see why this is automatically going to be added on the list. You know, every time when I go and read a really bad horror story and like I see the author comes up with just dumb ways that the character will go and hide a dead body, like Five Nights at Freddy's for example, how they're like, oh, we ended up hiding the dead bodies inside the animatronics. I always think to myself, there's absolutely no way that's going to work. Someone at one point is definitely going to realize that, man, these animatronics smell pretty weird. Like, someone is going to know that they have to be a body inside the animatronic. There is no way that's ever going to work in real life. But this is a dumb horror story. I'm just going to give it a pass. And then I read stuff like this and then I wonder, no, that author was actually playing 5D chess. They're 100% right, because apparently in the common business, you can just full on just die on the ground and no one is going to care. Absolutely insane. Now, Wells Fargo did make a generic statement saying that they're going to do something about it, but I think we all know that this statement, I'm not even going to read it because we know nothing's going to be done. These companies don't care about their employees. They're literally not going to do anything to fix this, mainly because they're so rich and successful that they literally don't have to. You're just gonna say, oh no, she ended up dying. You know, next time we're gonna make sure something like that doesn't happen. So maybe they'll make like a brand new plan where it's like, if you see someone inside of a building dying, you pick them up and throw them out the window so they die outside of the building and not around the building facility. Or I guess you need to like push them down to the street, make sure they're not like in the parking lot outside of the private area, then they can die. Oh, Susan, you're having a heart attack over there? Don't worry, let me give you the emergency wheelchair. You just wheel her up and then just push her outside, make a good check and like, yeah, she's not in the building facility anymore, and then she's like just completely keeled over because her heart just stopped working, and then all the co-workers could be like, whew, now we can go back to work. By the way, I know there's going to be someone in the comment section saying that, am I trying to defend Wells Fargo because I ended up bringing the co-worker thing up? No, I'm not. I heard a lot of people say that every time when they bring up that the co-workers didn't notice them. I'm not trying to defend the billion-dollar company. Literally in this video, I made fun of people who defend multi-billion-dollar companies. Because if you do that, you are extremely stupid. You're just dumb. They don't care about you. I'm just also trying to say that your coworkers and most people around you also don't care about you either. That's the only thing I'm trying to point out. So, okay? That's probably not going to stop the stupid people in the comment section, saying that I'm trying to defend them, and then they hit me with an insult like calling me autistic. Man, I have been called that way too much time on this YouTube channel. That is just a very interesting insult. I have been called many things during my life, but autistic is not one of them. Either way, that's it. This is a situation that I want to go and talk about. My name is Lua. You have a good day or night. And also make sure to cherish the people around you who actually cares about you and respect you as a human. A lot of people don't really have a good support group, so if you do have a good friend out there or your family is really good, make sure you tell them that you're grateful. Or just treat them with respect, because a lot of people don't really have a good circle these days. Anyway, goodbye.